right, welcome live Facebook participants in our Grow My Cleaning Company Facebook group. Welcome podcast guests, YouTube guests. Somehow we're on Instagram. Welcome everybody. Today we are talking about the things that waste time or that you're wasting the most time in on your cleaning business. Having coached thousands of owners in this space, I have found one of the big, I don't say mistakes, but one thing, beliefs that hold people back is money's super important, but their time is kind of valueless and they'll just spend all the time they need as long as they can save a nickel. And I can encourage you as you get bigger and bigger and have more money, which generally hopefully will happen the longer you're in business, we all get less time. So I'm really excited. We talk a lot about how to make more money, which is super important, but how to save more time is far more valuable because we can always get richer in money, but we can never get richer in time. Like you will guaranteed be poor in time at the end of this podcast than you are now. So let's jump into that. Lindsay, what we got, girl?
All right. In the Facebook group, we got a comment from Queen Freaks SL. And the biggest thing they're wasting time on, Mike, is payroll.
Easy peasy. So I love that one because it's double whammy. One, which means it's a double solution. One, you shouldn't be doing payroll. Well, let me just give the answer and I'll kind of give the why. Hire a payroll company, right? Like if you reach out to support@growmycleaningcompany.com, we've got a contact at ADP. Megan, she's amazing. Lindsay will connect you. But more importantly than that, and maybe we should have Megan on and do a full payroll situation. Maybe I'll let you and Megan do that. Anyway, so pay a company that's good at that for a couple of reasons. One, well, gosh, there's two parts. All right, we'll break this down, Clean Freaks. So there is the preparing of the payroll for your payroll company, right? So step one, make sure you got some sort of software that your people are, you could use pen and paper, but that's a lot of work. Lots of software, Jobber, there's a bunch of them that, your employees can clock in and out of, apps on their phone, yada, yada, yada. So really payroll is just taking that information and getting it into a format that your payroll company can understand, assuming that you have a payroll company. And you should have a payroll company. If you don't, definitely don't do payroll because, again, you're doing like 941s, 945, quarterly payments, monthly payments. And if you screw that up, they will hit you so hard with fines and late fees. It is, you screw up one payroll, it'll cost you what it would cost for a whole year of a payroll service to do it. So just pay a payroll company. So we're assuming you're paying a payroll company. And if you're not, email support@growmycleaningcompany. Lindsay will hook you up with one. And we're not affiliated with them. She just does a great job for our clients. So assuming you've got a payroll company, I would have my accountant do the two remaining parts of payroll. Part one, prepare the raw data of all the employees clocking in and out in the payroll company or in the time tracking software for whoever your payroll company is, because they're going to need to know what that is. And then they're going to yank a gross amount out of your account and then probably send you some sort of emailed receipt, like this is for payroll taxes, this is for wages. And then I would have my accountant also take that information and put it into QuickBooks so it's properly done. So the right answer is we should sub all of that out, right? Your payroll company should be physically processing the payroll. Your accountant should be preparing your payroll to be processed. And your account should also be entering the data in QuickBooks from the money that they take from your account. And we also have accountants that do that. So if you need help with that, email support@growmycleaningcompany. But whether it's us or somebody else, not you is the right answer. So that is an absolute, I don't want to say waste of time, but low value of time. It's such frustrating, mind-numbing work. It's not working on your business, it's working in it. Absolutely pay people to do that. So that was a long, detailed, boring answer, but hopefully some of you out there are like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed. Any questions or anything on that before we move on?
Yeah, I have two follow-up questions for that, Mike.
Let's do it.
All right. So number one is how many employees would I need as a cleaning company before I even need payroll? Is it soon as I heard just one?
One employee. I literally would not want to do, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know what payroll costs, probably $200-300 a month, something like that. It's not like $1,000 and it's not $12. And when you only have one employee, that's kind of expensive, but I don't want the risk. If it's just a lot of work. So I would literally hire a payroll company to process one person's payroll.
Okay. Makes sense. And number two, I actually got asked this question today by a client, and I want to hear what you have to say, Mike, is who on the team, in the way that we outline all the different roles in a cleaning company as we coach it, who on the team would be responsible for onboarding the employees? Like, does the cleaner, like the owner, do that? Is that something like we don't really coach HR, I guess is what I'm saying. So how would you handle that?
So there's the big part of the onboarding is how do they clean all that stuff, and we coach having the cleaners actually hire, train, and onboard one another. But if you're coming to like the paperwork piece of it, like that would be your payroll company. Believe it or not,
Okay.
I want a payroll company where I can just give them a link and they can do all that stuff. And if they're like, I'm a child and I don't know how to fill out a W-2, or the government, I should say I'm a child, but it's too complex or I'm too scared. Like I didn't do any onboarding with Lindsay as it came to payroll. I'm like, call our accountant and she'll take care of you. Like that's, and I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure Lindsay gets paid every month and I don't have to really worry about it. So there you go. So if you've got an employee that's like, oh, I don't know how to do that, that's a bit of a red flag. Or your payroll company's so bad it's complex and switch payroll companies. But literally, I want the employee to handle that themselves, or the payroll company should have a portal or a package, or I let them work that out betwixt them.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and that seems like it would also save an owner a lot of time too, if that's just streamlined with the payroll company, whoever they choose. Cool.
The overlying principle, or the underlying principle, I should say, if you have a problem that requires money and you have money, you don't have a problem, right? And you're like, well, I don't have money. Well, that's not a payroll problem, or I'm not charging my customers enough, because customers, if you've got the right customers, right? There's people out there like, I just want you to clean. Well, that's a cleaning job, not a cleaning business. If it's a cleaning business, customers assume that you have payroll and payroll costs and employees and all that sort of good stuff. So if you have a problem that requires money, you have money, you don't have a problem. And in business, you should have money for payroll. If you don't, that's a bigger problem that's not a time problem. That is a business model problem that that would be a different topic for a different day.
Got it. All right. Next up, we have Nay. I hope I'm saying this right. N as in Nancy AI left a Facebook comment, and they said they're wasting their time on the wrong products, the wrong clients, and the wrong pricing. I reached out to them to get some more details, but because wrong products could be in a bunch of things. Wrong.
Yeah, that's a very generalized kind of comment. Did you get any?
Yeah.
Did you get any more details?
I unfortunately didn't, but I guess to better ask a question, how do you search for the right clients to save you time? Like, what's your biggest tip on that?
So I don't know what the wrong products means. I have no idea what that means, but the wrong clients and the wrong pricing are really the same thing, and often tied together. When we underprice clients, or clients complain about our pricing, so we lower it to accommodate them, you would think because they're getting the cheapest prices, they'd be the most appreciative, thankful clients. It is the exact opposite. The cheapos are raising their hand going, I don't value you. And you giving them a great price isn't going to make them value you more. It's going to make them value you less. So not always, it's not a direct one-to-one relationship, but there is a strong correlation to the more profitable and higher price the client is, the better they behave and the better they treat you, and the more they appreciate you, and the more money you have to do a great job for them. So oftentimes when the pricing is wrong, the client is also wrong. So there's really a couple places you can plug that hole. One is in the marketing, right? If you're marketing a bunch of discounts, 20% off or $5 off or some weird thing and I'm not saying you would never discount, but I would use a discount to lower the barrier of entry, or free cleaning even, to lower the barrier of entry to the right client. But just a generic free things for everybody Facebook ad, if you use the bait of low price, you're going to attract the fish of low price seeker, right? So we want to make sure the bait that we use, how we speak, is in our advertising is going to, so if we're speaking only to price, lowest prices in town, we won't be beat, we're cheapest. Well, then you're going to get cheap people that are bad clients. If you're speaking to people working too much, know that your time is more valuable than money, those kinds of things are going to bring in the right clients at the right prices. So the marketing part is a baseline for that. And it's not perfect. It's a lot of us do local service ads or something where there's really not much to say and you kind of get what you get. So the marketing is the first opportunity for that. And the sales process is the second opportunity for that. So a lot of people like doing online booking and it's super sexy and fun. That is a great way to get the wrong clients at the wrong price, right? Because there's no vetting, right? It could be a hoarder situation. They could just be terrible, mean human beings, but they put in their credit card, so they're your client now. So the sales process is marketing is a good start. The sales process is the best part to make sure you get the right or the best opportunity to make sure you get the right clients at the right price. And the last thing I'll say on that is the best inoculation to accepting the wrong client. Because first of all, you have to know they're the wrong client. And second, you have to have the ability to say, or the willingness to say no. So if I've had 1.5 bids this month and it's the 28th of the month, and I know Lindsay's going to be a pain in my butt, but she's got a credit card. And I do know that, by the way. My favorite pain in my butt ever. Her and my wife almost tied. But she's the only bid I've seen all month, and she's got a credit card. It's really hard to say no. However, if I've had 5 bids this week already, and I know I got a 5 next week, and Lindsay's shown up as a pain in the butt, much easier for me to be a little more sober-minded and be like, hey, I don't think we're a good fit. So short answer to the right clients at the right price is good marketing, a diligent sales process, and ideally enough leads where you have the intestinal fortitude to say no to the right people or to the wrong people.
Got it. Yeah, that was a great answer to a very broad question.
Yeah, I did, but it's very possible. Nye's out there going, you don't understand anything I said. And that's apologies, but also ask a better question. We'll get you next time.
Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information. I just wish I could actually get it implemented. And I wish I could get some help. Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge. And we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
You touched on something that just sparked an idea. And I think a lot of people in Cleaning Nation think that they can save time by putting a booking link to just for anyone to book on their website. So when you just hit on that, like,
yeah, so
it's counterintuitive, you know, people think
they can save time. You will save the time it would take to go out and sell the client, but you also cost yourself the time of maybe having to deal with a bad review, maybe having to get a bad client, pricing it wrong, not making any money. So, and by the way, if you have a problem that requires money and you have money, there's no problem. So if you're going out on good leads and converting them into customers for money, you could probably pay someone else to go out on those good leads. It's not that it can't cost time. It just can't, we're just advocating it doesn't cost your time. So yes, it will quote unquote save time to have your link to take money and get on your calendar online without anyone having to talk to them, just like it will quench your thirst if you're in the ocean to drink some salt water. Like it's there and it's water and it'll make me feel better now, but or quench your hunger to have a McDonald's hamburger. It's going to feel great for the next 4 minutes and not so great after that. Did I get what you're asking, Lindsay, to answer your question?
Yeah. It wasn't really a question. It was just, like an observation, something we see.
Yeah, it's a really good, because you're right. Technically, it does save time, but the downstream consequences or the unintended consequences are going to cost you more in time and money almost inevitably. Like setting up, it's an investment of time. So yeah, it's like, hey, and by the way, without getting off on too much of a rant, I hate one-time clients, move in, move outs, post-construction, because all that costs all that time, but there's just, you do the work once and God willing, you get paid once. With a recurring customer, you do the work once, you get them set up, and they're kind of like hands, especially with commercial, you get a nice 5-day-a-week account, 2-3 cleaners, 3-4 hours a night, $4 or $5 grand a month. That's like an ATM that just pays you for years and years and years. You do that work one time. So yeah, it costs you up front, but that can be a very good return on that time investment.
Got it. I'm going to kind of transition over to some kind of unrelated questions that we didn't answer last week, but I have a feeling these are also related to time and owners wasting time on things maybe they don't need to. The first one is Denise had emailed us in. Do you really need business capital to start a cleaning company? And if so, how much?
That's such a great example of a time waster when people are starting. So much of what I see in that $0 to $10,000 range is people working 50, 60 hours a week, just doing the wrong gosh darn thing. And to answer Denise's question, technically you don't need any, you could, if you really, it was important, you need no money, you could figure it out by getting a client, getting them to pay up front, using that money to buy something. Like you could, if you had to, you could. But a realistic answer is, should you have a couple grand, like 2-3 grand? Yeah, like just for a couple supplies, a couple business cards. But no offense, if you got to get a loan for $2,000, maybe get a job, save up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's usually when I hear capital or a loan, we're thinking 20-30 grand. And it's a great waste of time when you're just beginning. Here, let me name as many as I can, time wasters when you're starting. Looking for a loan, trying to find a partner for a business that doesn't exist yet, picking out a bunch of office furniture, fooling with social media, getting a website built, creating a business plan. There's so many of them. They're just a complete waste of time. Anything other than getting a client, nothing happens until somebody makes a sale. So most things that aren't making a sale when you're very first starting is a waste of time, including looking for capital. To be clear, I've owned lots of, I had a car dealership, construction company. There are very capital intensive businesses. So I'm not saying no businesses ever need capital, because that would be obviously untrue. The cleaning business, if you get paid in advance, which is what we coach you to do, really should be largely self-funded. So no, I would not waste time looking for capital anytime, not when you're starting, not when you're bigger. When you're bigger, almost exclusively in the cleaning business, not other businesses. Other businesses can be different. In the cleaning business, if you're looking for capital, you're really almost exclusively, having coached thousands of owners for a decade, there's a fundamental foundational flaw in your business that needs to be fixed. And instead of fixing that, you get capital, which can, or a loan, which can mask the problem. And we think it's like, oh, my payment terms are no good, it's a net 30. That's a cash flow problem, not a profit. If it persists month after month after month, you got a cash. It's not just a cash flow problem; it's a lack of profit problem. So what'll happen is you'll get the loan. You'll slowly go through all of that loan because you haven't plugged the leak in your business boat, and the leak keeps going, and you just have more. The loan is just a couple extra oars for a minute. But what happens is you run out of the credit. Whatever you borrowed is gone, and now you have that debt. And the fundamental business problem has not been fixed, but you have the debt to deal with on top of it. So you've doubled I always say it's like, I'm going through it. I love my wife. Everything's great. If I was going through a divorce and I get hooked on drugs, 3 months later, I'm still divorced, but now I'm divorced with a drug problem. It's like, it's really bad. So I would encourage you to find a better use of your time would be to find the fundamental business problem and solve that, and not buy yourself more time to make that same mistake over and over with a loan. So sorry, things got a little dark and heavy there, but that's a big one. I see that a lot. I think we got time for one more. That's not super long.
Yes. Amelia in chat just asked a great one. She said, is it worth it for a cleaning company to become a B&I membership?
So that's a really good question. I can't really say if it's worth it. I can give you some perspective, having been in many a networking meeting group, so forth and so on. I really want to look at, when it's a group, how many of my perfect prospects are there? And a lot of times we want to be a part of the group, so we stretch what our perfect prospect means. So for me, a B&I group would not be make any sense, because what are say there's 30 members in there. There's going to be 0 to 1 owner of a cleaning company. I could just call that guy or talk to him, or, I don't need to join a group to whatever. So if I owned a commercial cleaning company, the likelihood that those people either are the decision maker for a large commercial contract or know the decision maker for is very low, right? It's a lot of insurance. I mean, you got to kind of look at that, but it's usually, I've got an insurance agent, I'm a realtor, I've got a cleaning company, like these kinds of basic service businesses. Not I'm the facilities manager for a 40,000 square foot warehouse. Like that guy's not generally going to a B&I meeting. So for commercial, generally no. And same with Chamber of Commerce. They're like, oh no, but the car dealership's in there and I want that car dealership. But the guy that's in there is a salesperson, or he's not typically the whatever. So you got to have a sober look at who is going to be in there with you. On the residential side, if it's a realtor or any of that, and she's a mom and she's, it's possible. But I guess I'm really just going to look at what the percentage of the target market. So on the commercial side is, a, instead of a BNI group, if I want to sell to car dealers have associations, and they typically meet once a month, nationally, locally, statewide. I'm going to go to those where by definition, 100% of the people in that meeting own a car dealership or gym or restaurant. They all have associations. So the association is so much better than the BNI, right? And then if it's moms, I'm going to go to a mom's group or be on the PTA school board for the local school, the one neighborhood that I want. So I'm going to really look for target-rich environments. Like the vast majority of these people are my perfect prospects. And again, the reason I wouldn't say, no, you shouldn't join a BNI or yes, you should, is if you have unlimited time and money, yeah, you should absolutely join all the BNIs. But if you have a limited time and money, I'm going to join the groups, even if the goal is not. I think people like the BNI or the LTIP or whatever because the stated goal is to give referrals. They're like, oh, I don't have to try and sell anyone anything because it's scary. Well, the cool thing is you don't have to do that anyway. You're just building a relationship, right? So I would go for the we're supposed to give each other referrals based business that was full of my perfect prospect before I went to a group that we're supposed to give each other's referrals that is not full of my perfect prospect. So I know, again, I feel like people are answering pretty simple questions, but I'm like, how about a long, boring ant? Like, this is a bad pod, Lindsay, bad pod. All right. I feel like that's good on questions. Anything on that one or anything else we need to get out there, Lindsay?
No, that's it for today from me.
All right, Cleaning Nation, love having you here. If you're on the podcast, we also have a YouTube channel. If you're on the YouTube channel, we have podcast, Instagram. If you're like, hey, how do I get my question in? You can email support@growmycleaningcompany.com. Lindsay gets that. You can join our Facebook group for free, and we go live in there. If you're joining us live on Facebook, hey, hope all is well. Thanks for your time and attention. We'll talk soon. See you.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.